kids are getting a little bit older. Of course, Ella turns 5 tomorrow, and later on in the fall, Nate will turn 13. We'll have a teenager. Yikes. Now that they're getting older, we can start to do some of the things that we weren't able to do when they were younger. One of those things is going to the movies. And we love the movies. L-O-V-E, love the movies. I don't know if you're keeping up with many of the movies that they're releasing now, but I have a theory that right now Hollywood is in a bit of a new golden age of cinema. So far, within the last year, I haven't seen all of these movies in the theater, but these movies have all garnered much praise. I've seen Lincoln, which was a great movie. Les Miserables, which is another great movie. Skyfall, the latest James Bond movie, which is an action movie and not so heady or heavy to understand, but it was an amazing, amazing flick. Star Trek Into Darkness, which is the sequel to the '09 remake with Christopher Pine is the Captain Kirk in this one, and I'm not going to put him into the Kirk Picard debate. You know, if we like William Shatner or James, no, what's his name? Hold on, Picard. No, Patrick Stewart. Yeah, I'm not going to put him in the which captain I like best, but it was still an amazing movie. Then I also saw Silver Linings Playbook, and then just this week, Man of Steel, which if you get a chance, really, Man of Steel, and see it in 3D too. I mean, the glasses might be annoying to some people, but it was an amazing, amazing flick. They're all amazing flicks. That doesn't mean they're all winners. I mean, there's still some pretty big loser movies out there, and I don't recommend seeing all of them. But I'm just saying that I have an excitement now about going to see movies instead of just waiting to be disappointed by them when they come out on DVD. How many people enjoy movies? I mean, taking a small poll, there are some of us, yeah. And most of us like movies, some more than others. For me, movies are my go-to rainy day activity. It's how I unwind. It's how I unplug from not literally unplug because the TV has to be plugged. And you have noticed that I like to use illustrations from movies in my sermons quite frequently because that's how I sort of relate, and I hope that they don't miss you along the way. If they do, I apologize, which is why I sort of try to hold back on them. Today is another one of those days that I'm going to use a movie to help illustrate my point. Last Sunday, we watched, a group of us gathered in the fellowship hall and watched one of my favorite movies of all time, Secondhand. How many people have seen that movie? Just quick show of hands. Quite a few people have seen the movie. It's a story of a young man named Walter, whose mother is constantly lying to him and is constantly searching for a man to take care of her and that she can take care of. She's sort of she's not a nice character. She ships Walter off to live with her 2 uncles, and that's quote unquote uncles. They're not really their uncles, but they're part of the family, and so for the summer, so she can go to some sort of school, which she doesn't actually go to, another lie she tells her son, she ships him off to live with her uncles on a West Texas farm, out in the middle of nowhere. But before she leaves, she tries to tell Walter to find the millions that reportedly they have stashed somewhere on their farm. They've lived very mysterious lives, and no one really knows the truth, and so they're just making up these stories. They don't know. Some people believe they were chased. They were stealing their money from the mob, and that they're on the run from them. There's just a lot of stories out about them, but nobody really knows. Now, Walter takes a bit of time to warm up to his uncles because they're old and they're a bit gruff, but they start to grow on him, especially his Uncle Garth. His Uncle Garth begins to tell him stories about their lives, about stories of wars that they fought in, and the sheep that they fought and took money from, and And the love that Uncle Hub shared with his Jasmine, it's the great love story in this movie. And, these stories were pretty fantastical, difficult to believe. And if that weren't enough, there are all sorts of people that come up to Walter and challenge his assumption that these stories are true. So Walter's having a very difficult time finding someone or something that he can trust or to have faith in. Now Walter finds himself conflicted and scared at one point in the movie, and is in the middle of this turmoil that a young person feels when everything and everyone around him feels like it's a lie. So Walter goes and confronts his Uncle Hub about one of the details of the story, and Uncle Hub starts to give him a bit of a speech that he likes to give to young boys before they become men, and this is part of that story. I was actually going to play you a clip, but due to technical difficulties, I'm going to have to play the part of Uncle Hub as played by Robert, I can't remember his name. Not De Niro, Duvall. Thank you. You have Robert Duvall. He does an excellent job playing Uncle Hub, and probably one of the most heartfelt and effective monologues in the history of American cinema, and you can debate me with that sometime, but here it is. He says, "Sometimes the things that may or may not be true are the things that a man needs to believe in the most. That people are basically good. That honor, courage, and virtue mean everything. That power and money and power mean nothing. That good always triumphs over evil. And I want you to remember this, that love, true love, never dies." You remember that, boy. Remember that. Doesn't matter if it's true or not. A man should believe in those things, because those are the things worth believing in. You got it? That line has always stuck with me. Sometimes the things that may or may not be true are the things that a man needs to believe in the most. That's the definition of faith. That's not the definition of faith. The definition of faith is something like confidence or trust in a person or thing. Even better is belief that is not based on proof. Walter has been told so many lies about so many facets of his reality that he cannot, with any degree of confidence, step out onto any of the planks that people are putting in front of him, because he can't trust anything around him. Essentially, Hub says that we can't do that. That we have to do something. That we have to be willing to step out in faith onto something. If we're only able to move when it looks like things are safest or that things are the easiest for us, then we might never move at all. Think about the trials that you have faced. Think about the trials that you may be currently facing. You've been in the